But following back up, we're also still joined by my dad, Brian Runk.
Glad to be back.
I have a 92-year-old lady that's living in there right now. She still drives. She wears studded, glitzy jeans. She is so
I'm
fabulous.
going to talk about the sound system real quick at the ballrooms. I love my sound, and you guys were kind enough to let me put in a $90,000 sound system.
Especially if you're trying to watch your dollars, you have to be personally involved with your spending and your oversight.
It's going to be better than going home and trying to make something on your own. It's a lot of fun. Around the table with Vickie. Just like gathering around the dinner table with loved ones and friends, we're here to share stories, insight, and inspiration.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to yet again another episode of Around the Table with Vickie. I'm your co-host, Chris Runk, and to my right, as always, is my mother, your host, Vickie Runk.
So good to be with everybody today. We're finished with Christmas.
What a wonderful holiday.
So good, so good. Glad it's over with, though, because it's always a little stressful for us.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah, it has been.
But that's the Christmas season.
That's
We
right.
love it. We enjoy it. It's so great to share it with our staff and family and friends, and we hope you had a wonderful Christmas as well.
We had a busy one, but it was good.
We did. But following back up, we're also still joined by my dad, Brian Runk.
Glad to be back.
So thanks for coming back to the show, and we want to continue on the conversation that we had last week about Bella Vista Hotel and Suites. We kind of walked through the process of purchasing it and some of our challenges, but we also talked about the renovation phase, some of the rebranding, and where we stopped last week was on the topic of the room conversions and talking about how many suites we have to offer to the community and what that process was like converting those rooms. So we'll hop right back in there and kind of talk about those suites.
So 43 king suites is a lot for one hotel to have, and it's a lot of space in those suites, and we're always really proud of that. We're really proud that we're unique in the fact that if we need to use all of those, we certainly can. It was your idea in the very beginning, Brian, because we just didn't know at what point in our history that we may have to do a full conversion to senior living because of baby boomers and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, when
but
we
for
first
right
planned,
now,
we actually were going to be all suites. Was the original plan. And so during about halfway through the renovation of the east side, we felt that if we were still going to try to meet the other needs of hotel guests, that it probably wasn't in the best interest of the hotel to be fully all suites. So we decided to have the 43 suites, and then we kept the other side as your traditional rooms for those situations with like sports teams and families that didn't want a whole suite, so we could be able to capture a larger slice of the marketplace. So
but it's certainly nice to have those wonderful suites on the right-hand side of the hotel. And so that's been something that made us very unique. And there's no other hotel in probably the whole Eastern Seaboard that can say that, because that's a lot of king suites. And we've enjoyed having them in our distribution of rooms, for sure.
Well, and I think for us, it was always important to try to plan to sort of double plan for whatever the future may hold with that. So we always did everything that we did, just like we said when we bought the hotel, to be able to plan for a dual use if possible.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Christopher, we have a wonderful program right now on the terrace level of the hotel, and it's something that's going to be hitting our website the first of the year. It's called the Perennial. And right now we have 10 rooms on the terrace level where they all have their own parking spot right outside their window, parallel to where their room is. And those are senior driven. And so they have their own entrance. They eat in their own space, and it's for an individual that is totally independent but loves the idea of living in a bougie little boutique hotel. And they get 3 meals a day, and they pretty much do everything else on their own. One of the great things that I've been able to provide for them is brand new towels every day, which I love to be able to have fresh towels. They don't even have to do them. We deliver them every day. And then we change their beds for them once a week and do housekeeping. And so I have some great ladies that are taking advantage of the Perennial program. And in a lot of the larger cities, the hotel guest is mixing in with more permanent guests that are renting inside of hotels. And I think this is going to be a trend for hotels in the future. And we've loved sharing some of those rooms with some of our senior ladies.
And you've also upgraded the activities. They're always
Yeah, we do have a lot
engaged.
of bus pickups and So if we're having something at Liberty Ridge on the terrace level, our bus driver, Christopher, will come get them, take them up to Liberty Ridge, and then just bring them right back to the front door. I mean, service, 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 which again, we love. And they take part in some events that are in the ballroom. So if we're having a special, like Elvis, Taylor Rodriguez will go and sing once or twice a year, and those ladies get the front row seat because that's where they live. Yeah. And they love having those opportunities.
And the food is elevated there, too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is.
And kind of like what you mentioned especially during COVID and coming out of COVID, nationally, you were seeing hotels being used for this kind of crossover model. Maybe
Dual
not
purposes.
always for seniors, but for some more of an extended stay.
Right.
For individuals. And what an incredible opportunity that
Well,
falls.
the King Suites are perfect for that. And so we also have had some traveling nurses with Centra that will come in and take those King Suites. We have washer and dryers in all of them. I mean, I know when we travel, it's always great to have a washer and dryer because you don't have to pack as much when you're traveling because you know you can wash your pants, that you don't have to, bring 6 pair of pants with you. You can reuse those if you wash them. And so the washer and dryers in all 43 suites, along with the Perennial level as well, has been something that our guests are loving.
So what I'm hearing you say is there are multiple different uses for the building. There's with the seniors that are on the terrace level, them being able to partake in whatever activities are actually happening in the hotel. How cool is that? Because that hotel is popping. So there's always these fun activities happening in the ballroom. The community's coming outside. So again, I see that you're connecting seniors with the community in a way that maybe people don't realize in this area.
Yeah, and that's probably very true because what the reason for the drive to create the Perennial is because independent living right now in our senior care communities, we're completely full. And so we have a waiting list. And so we were thinking, how can we meet an immediate need? And so we opened up 10 rooms and we make them have their own entrance and their own spot, and they feel like it's theirs. So if they want to come upstairs and meet guests that are coming, sometimes the ladies will come and sit outside on the big sofas and see the guests going in and out, or they'll sit inside on the sofas and hear the conversations of guests getting on and off the elevator, and they meet people and they share numbers and they share social media contacts, and maybe that visitor is going to visit Lynchburg every 2 or 3 months. So there's a connection and a relationship that's been formed. And that's what seniors are looking for anyway right now. There's been a disconnect in the family. There's been a disconnect of time that a family member is given that senior. And all of a sudden, all these people traveling and getting to see each other, meet each other, connections being made. Our ladies are loving that. And most of them are social anyway. So sitting out and seeing the guests come in and out of their home that's permanent on the terrace level has been something that we really have found. There's a need for that.
And I've heard of those concepts with seniors in a daycare setting. You see seniors interacting with children, and it just brightens their day. Well, this is kind of
all the time
with the
Well, even with larger cities, not just with seniors, there's a big push with even these developments, almost like multifamily, but they're hotel settings with multiple restaurants and multiple things for people to engage. But they live in this kind of a hotel
community
environment where there's shopping and there's restaurants and there's engagement and there's nighttime activities, and that's very prominent in the larger cities. In the larger cities as well, that's happening with the senior group, but it's sort of a nuance for us to be bringing something like that here.
Yeah, and it's been something that everybody had to get used to, right? Sure. And I mean, for our ladies, so I know the women that are living on the Perennial floor, and so they're asking me to bring a card table because they want to start playing cards at night. And we're like, oh, just come on up to one of the salons because we have so many tables. Oh no, we don't want to come upstairs so at night they don't want to even get on the elevator to come upstairs because they don't want to walk that far, And so we cater to that. What can we do to put everything on their level? And for seniors, I have a 92-year-old lady that's living in there right now. She still drives. She wears studded, glitzy jeans. She is so fabulous, but she knows what she wants, and she left her home of all those years. I actually took care of her mom. And her mom passed away with us at the same age, 92. So I have all these relationships with women that we have something for everybody. So we don't necessarily, she may not fit into a large group home, but she is loving being catered to, and she is loving being that small group environment. And so I think that there is something to be said about options, and that's what this is. It's options.
Well, and if they're needing some early senior living or just the independent living, they're still in a group environment. They're still having to have specific meal times. We're trying to cater where there's an open meal time where people can come down between certain times and they don't have to get up and be on schedules. They can live their own life. They can go see their family, but they have all the support, but yet all of the fun stuff that we're
But
trying
this
to go
is
with
strictly for people that absolutely need no help whatsoever. So we don't do any kind of assistance other than bring their mail to them maybe, or help order Walmart.com to be dropped off, or, tell them what the menu is for the week. These are truly people that just need to get out of a larger home, taking care of the yard, that kind of thing. And
a lot of them still travel.
Yep. Drive.
Yep. We're very active.
Early on, you're describing so many different uses for that property. When you were debating about making the initial investment and buying the hotel, how much comfort did that bring to you, knowing that you weren't tied into one single aspect, that if it didn't work, it just didn't work?
100%.
I mean,
yeah. So much comfort, because we knew that.
Well, it was a requirement. It really wasn't just comfort. We said in the purchase agreement that if for some reason we were not able to get it zoned properly, that was a deal breaker for us. So it was that big of a deal that was part of the agreement.
We've talked about entrepreneurship on this show right here on this couch in this room before, but it is essential that when you're doing a development and you're planning your business plan, that you have all of your T's crossed and your I's dotted, that, if this falls through, then we're going to do this, so that you don't skip a beat. And I think that's just being a good steward of your money as well, that you have a plan. And that eases the burden as an entrepreneur, that if society throws something at you that you can't control, and ultimately, you and I had this discussion the other day, we know that God's going to do what's best for us. And so you have to be able to follow that path, no matter what that ends up being. And I love being able to offer 120 rooms to Lynchburg, to be able to come in and to the Liberty events, to be able to visit their seniors with us, for the city to be able to host things. We love being immersed in the community, but there also could be a time that building has to have a different usage, and it'll be driven by numbers and driven by the need, and we are aware of that. So we share in the joy of it being a hotel right now, but down the road, maybe even after we retire, what you and your sister are able to do with that, it's all ready to go should you need to flip the switch, which is cool.
Mom, I want to give you a chance, because I know how much time and energy you both have put in. Talk about some of the key aspects of the hotel, some of the things you're most proud of, some of the amenities that we have to offer the community.
Well, the ballroom itself is spectacular. I would liken it to something in a Disney resort. The walls and the carpet. And we left the original chandeliers there, which I was so proud we were able to do. Those are very iconic. So I kind of arranged and designed everything to be able to host those chandeliers. And so it's really rewarding to walk in and see a large group there celebrating whatever it is they're celebrating, or hosting an event, whether it be business or personal. It's very rewarding on my end to see that it's such a beautiful space. And you can't take a bad picture in that room, right? Even if you're having a bad day, the surroundings are beautiful. It's also so special for me to be able to, have the lobby look so custom and everything be so special in the lobby. It kind of sets the tone. And then on each floor, we have beautiful wall murals that welcomes the guest as they get out of the elevator onto their floor. And each floor is different, and each floor has a different color scheme. And I just love how that it's just so different. So you can go to a big hotel chain, and I've done plenty of that. We travel, but we would love for you to support local. Like, we're doing things in the community. We're working hard we give away space sometimes to nonprofits, and so that they can come in and do their fundraising, things that matter. And so we're doing all of those things that I feel like the community wants us to do. So coming back in and supporting us is really, really important to us.
I'm going to talk about the sound system real quick at the ballrooms. I love my sound, and you guys were kind enough to let me put in a $90,000 sound system. So anybody that's coming for an event, literally, it's plug and play.
Yeah, and it's great because like when the churches come in and they're having their concerts, we don't have to worry about do they have everything they need because you worked all of that out. And we're working on doing a green room to where you can see everything going on the monitor. And so when the guests are ready to go out and perform, they know exactly their cue time and all of that kind of stuff. So it is. And you've done a lot with the Apple televisions, right? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, we've rebuilt that entire network, all the Wi-Fi. You talked about the challenges with the concrete. We figured all that out. We have a brand new TV system in there using Apple televisions, trying to modernize everything, giving that client, that guest, a really good customer interface to get to their television. They can link up to see recommendations that are in town and calendars that are happening with local Lynchburg events. So there is a lot of really cool things. Like you said, the ballrooms, the green room, the spaces, we thought through all that. So if you were a performer and you needed to enter in the ballroom, we have a holding room with a camera that allows you to see exactly when you need to go in. We do events all the time, so we thought all that through. So if you do need an event, check us out because I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and Spencer Foley is a local guy here that's doing all of our sales and bookings, and he understands the Lynchburg community. He's a Liberty grad. He worked for Liberty in the events department, and Mark Creasy is the general manager. He's been here his whole life, a part of all that the community needs and does. He's right there in the middle of all of it. Anybody that knows Mark knows he has a big, big heart, and he's great at helping us with all we need. So those two gentlemen will be able to help you with anything that you need.
I want to talk about one really awesome aspect of the hotel and something that I'm not sure the community knows is there right now, and that is Tori Blue Restaurant and what all went into revamping that, creating that, the interior design, our chef, all the wonderful things that went into that. So even we can talk about the name. So talk a little bit about Tori Blue Restaurant, what that means to the hotel and the amenities that it adds to our guest.
Well, initially, we wanted Tori Blue to really welcome our guest, the weary traveler that's getting there later at night and that hasn't had a chance to stop along the way and eat. We wanted them to feel like, I know we do when we travel, oh, there's a place for us to go grab something before we have to go to bed. And that has been, our first priority, to take care of our guest that's there in the hotel. Tori Blue has really taken off with doing outside catering. We're taking care of so many special groups in the community, delivering food and taking care of whatever a company may need. We've really hooked in really well with some of the local companies. So Chef is making not only the food for the hotel, but he's also catering as well. We have just hired a new catering chef that's going to come in and help take care of our catering needs because we already need some extra people on our team. It's fun to see some of our recipes and some of our particular dishes, Brian, that we've traveled throughout and brought back and put on the menu with an award-winning chef that has been, like we talked about on a previous show, he's been the chef in the White House and cooked for 4 sitting presidents. He's from Germany, so he has quite the character. And he brought a team of people with him that really can deliver what I feel like our clients need. And it's super exciting to see a brand new restaurant with all the beautiful colors. The carpet was very expensive. So when you walk in, take a look at the carpet. And I've loved putting the touches. The cabinetry was all designed by myself with a local guy that does all of my cabinetry work, no matter where we are designing. He works for me and he puts all those special touches on. That's all my design. And I've just really enjoyed getting it ready for the community to use.
Maybe speak about brunch, maybe, too?
Brunch is every Sunday, and what fun is it to get out on a Sunday and be able to have a really good breakfast that you can go to. If you don't want breakfast, we have some other items on there as well. Brunch was really designed specifically by our travels, Christopher, so we have some menu items that are familiar to us and some of our favorites. It's so fun to get up on a Sunday. If you go to church, stop in. I mean, it's going to be better than going home and trying to make something on your own. It's a lot of fun.
Mom, for more information, you can check out toryblue.com or the bvhotel.com.
That's right.
One exciting thing what we're going to do for the 2025 and really quick for New Year's Eve is monthly specialty dinners at the restaurant.
Yeah, we just had a bourbon dinner that was designed and orchestrated by our chef. I did not eat the elk, but you did, Brian.
I did.
It was
Did.
good.
Yeah.
Chris Chandler liked it as well. It was very, very popular. We had some people refer back that it was one of the best dishes they've ever had. So playing off of that, and it was so well received that we thought, well, we'll do something for New Year's Eve. It's always fun to get dressed up. And you have Matt Billings that's going to be playing the piano that night, a little jazz. You can check all of that out online, but you're going to need a reservation for these special dinners. And then what you want to do is get in the habit of checking online each month to see what kind of specialty dinner he's going to bring to life.
And you can book right online through our we're proud to say we're part of Open Table now.
Oh,
So you
yay.
can go right to the website, make a reservation, shoots right to us.
Yeah, we'll take care of you.
Mom, that kitchen is really special. It has two components of a restaurant kitchen and a catering kitchen. It's huge.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about.
Yeah, that was really one of our favorite things about the hotel when we were looking at purchasing it, was that we really needed a bigger space to be able to cook in for West Manor, the Bedford Columns, and Bella Rose. And so having that opportunity to go in and totally do a brand new remodel on it, Brian, we had to tear up some of the floors, put in new pipes.
That's back to when we first started about some of the hurdles. That was definitely a hurdle, was figuring out how to get beyond that. We didn't anticipate that the pipes would be rotted out in some areas because they're cast iron, but we had to figure out either we cut the floors up and create a mess in a kitchen that was almost done, or we had to, what we ended up doing was relining the pipes, and that worked out well. But it took a long time. It was more costly and different things. But once that was done, now we have all new appliances, and it's a first-class kitchen. And the other nice thing about it is it's just so centralized. Although we do, it's in such a great
Yeah, so we have a big
location.
loading dock, and our catering trucks will just roll up and take whatever out to the community that's been ordered by a business or private event. So it's a lot of fun to watch all that kitchen. It's fun going back there when it's all happening because you feel like you're in the middle of a big production.
So pretty much all food comes
Yes.
out of the hotels.
Yes, it is. Actually, we're hosting the lieutenant governor at our house, and they're catering that event. I'm so proud to say that's my company that's doing all the doing all the work there. So it's been something that we've worked really long and hard on, and it's not always easy, and we don't always get it right, but we certainly try.
I'll ask this question to both of you. What, throughout the process of the hotel, what are you most proud of? What's been the biggest accomplishment there at the hotel that you're...
Well, I can answer that very quickly, and then I can turn it over to your dad. I'm most proud of the fact that Lynchburg is proud of it. I'll say that again. I'm most proud of the fact that Lynchburg is proud of that building. And there's nowhere I go that I'm not hearing, thank you for what you did. And so the fact that Lynchburg loves it is enough for me.
I'm probably on the same trend as that. It's just, it's still, unless you have a need to go in there for some reason because it's a hotel, unless you come for the restaurant, you don't really get to see the value and things that we've done there with that.
Well, and listening to travelers, we're over there
Yes,
quite a bit,
right.
and we hear travelers coming in and out of that door, and it's just, again, we don't always get it right, so I don't want to appear that we're perfect. Sometimes we mess up, but for the most part, the guests are just like, wow. I heard a little girl going through the hallway there, Mommy, can we take a picture in front of the tree? And it does your heart good to know that people feel special when they walk into that place.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I think the thing that I feel like really turned out the best was probably the ballroom space and the restaurant. I think the restaurant is an untapped gem for the city. Everybody who comes in there seems to really enjoy it. You do have some hurdles when you're operating a restaurant out of a hotel versus a standalone building.
Well, in that regard, we made a separate entrance
Yes.
into the
a
restaurant,
patio.
Christopher, and a big outdoor patio that we've not been able to use them. Looking forward to the summer to where we actually see guests out there around the fire pits eating their dinner, and so it's been a lot of fun to see all that transpire.
Mom, you mentioned that you were proud, that Lynchburg was proud of it. Being immersed in this community, I want to ask a follow-up question. Why is that so important to you?
Because it's my community. Yeah, it's my community, and it matters to me. And I cannot tell you how proud I am to say that, we're connected to all these different businesses in town. It's so wonderful to be out and have somebody from a larger business come up and say, I mean, we experienced this past weekend. I was at the city event and I had no idea it looked like that inside, and the food was so wonderful, and it just makes it all so worth it.
Looking into the new year, right? 2025. We got some big goals and some big aspirations. What are some of those top goals for you guys at the hotel this coming year?
Honestly, had a meeting about that. Yeah.
So this is a great question.
Yeah. So I think Spencer has big, lofty goals to increase all of our sales and all of our performances at the hotel by 40%, which is it's not undoable. It's certainly something that we're able to achieve. Our goals is that when we get a call for an event or a question about the restaurant, it's that we get back to our customers as quickly as possible, because we understand your time is valuable. And if you're needing to have an event, it matters that we get it taken care of right then. It's also really important to us that we continue to be very, very continuously intentional with our customers and our base of customers, that we're servicing everything that we can. And we're very intentional about meeting the needs of the city itself. New groups that are coming in. I mean, you brought in disc golf. Well, they just honored you the other night for bringing in $4 million worth of city revenue. So well done. But those are things that we're really looking at. How can we get involved with the city and make sure that this hotel is being utilized? We built it and it's there. Now we need everybody to tap into it and make sure it gets used.
Well, and not just city specifically, but the local population that, you want return business. If you're working with a local business, be it WXT, Delta Star, whatever, you're really looking for those guys to have a great experience and come back with that. If it's the restaurant, that everybody's always looking for somewhere good to have, good food. So once you come in and have a good experience, I always say what's special about Tori Blue is the dining experience. Not that you don't get that anywhere else, but it truly, to me, feels like a really nice dining experience.
And it's small and intimate. It's never overcrowded. I think sometimes it can be, but it's all thought through very nicely. And we eat in there occasionally, and we're always very pleased. The other night I was in there, and there's things I didn't even know we had. So we were pleasantly surprised. I was like, I didn't know we did that.
Those specials, that rockfish was pretty good.
It was, and the fillets are awesome. So I think you should really go check it out. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
Those whiskey-aged fillets are my favorite item on the menu.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we got the request, Christopher, to go buy a whiskey barrel. Do you remember that? The chef needed the whiskey barrel, and we didn't understand what he needed it for. Now we know it's to make some of the greatest steaks in Lynchburg.
Very good.
The show's about to end. I asked one follow-up question. What would we talked about the renewal process over the last 2 episodes of the show. What would be your greatest words of advice for somebody looking to renew a business or renew a project?
Stay on top of it and stay involved, and don't leave it up to anybody else on your team. You have to personally oversee that stuff, because if you're not there and you're not involved, you can lose a lot of money along the way. And renewing a business is about doing it as financially responsible as possible, so you can turn it back over to the public or turn it back over to whatever industry you're being a part of. So be very involved.
I think one thing with us is, when people come through spaces, sometimes they think you spent more than maybe you did, because it looks like you spent. So you're managing your money well. But she's exactly right. I think especially if you're trying to watch your dollars, you have to be personally involved with your spending and your oversight, and you're managing your key people, because a project can get out of, especially an older building, can get out of hand pretty quickly. It doesn't take that many items to sort of pop up to drain your budget pretty quickly. It really can sneak up on you.
Well, Dad, thank you for joining us for these last 2 episodes.
Come back anytime, man. I'm ready.
Mom, I know you like to end each show with a quote, so I know you've got a special one in store for us.
So today, I really want to talk to the women out there that are entrepreneurs. I've had so many come up to me and write to me, and I just want to give you a good word of encouragement going into the new year. Don't underestimate what strong faith and strong work ethic can produce. It's not always about being the most qualified. Sometimes it's about believing it's possible and having discipline to get there. That's my little words of encouragement going into the new year. Those of you that are thinking about doing business, those of you that are doing business and maybe you're just tired and you need a pickup, just believe in yourself. If you believe it, see it, it can be done. Until next time, right here around the table, I'm Vickie. Happy New Year.